It is a new day and a new season. Innovations in tech will continue to evolve. The Internet of Things is the network of physical objects or things embedded with electronics, software, sensors, actuators, and connectivity to enable objects to exchange data with the manufacturer, operator, and other connected devices. IoT is another bit of technical jargon in the same line as artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and machine learning. Actually, we are rather moving towards the Internet of Everything. Beyond physical technology is focusing on all-round connectivity, intelligence, and cognition between people, data, as well as processes. It seems the future is coming with tons of IoT devices, petabytes of data and insights extracted from those data using analytics, machine learning, deep learning, and so on. That is how I welcome you to another episode of Ict Today with Abeokuta. In this episode, we are going to be discussing Internet of Things, Web of Things, digital skills, machine learning, AI data science, and as usual, I have an expert with me on the show who is going to be educating us on our focus today. Digital skills are abilities which can be acquired by individuals to find, evaluate, use, share, and create content using digital devices such as computers and smartphones. Mr. Shehu Amzat is an ICT expert, and together we will serve you today's offering. Mr. Amzat, welcome to the program.
Yes, good day. Thank you so much for having me here. Happy to be here.
To start with, let's get to know what Internet of Things is all about in its simplest form that can be understood by a layman on the street.
So, Internet of Things, as the name already describes physical objects or even a group of physical objects that are basically embedded with sensors, processing power or connectivity that allows them to connect with other devices and also transmit data to other devices, either over the internet or over any other communication network. So basically, it's just a very simple thing that we want to connect, not just devices or our computer systems together, but we also want to connect things as well. So things can be your AC, can be your fan, right? Can be your light bulb. How do we connect them that we can, give remote, remote instructions, remote directives, and they can continue to pass data back and forth each other. So it's very, very interesting the technology basically.
Now we are familiar with Internet of Things, but what is Web of Things? The two seems to be confusing. Can you differentiate, explain, and let's know the margin line between the two?
So yes, so Web of Things is a standard and set of protocols developed by the World Wide Web Consortium, that's W3C, that basically provides the guiding principles and standards and protocols for which different IoT devices can basically connect together over the internet. Because basically, as we have now, we have different manufacturers, different platforms developing IoT devices and the way to speak to each other. So the basic principle is that we want to have this different technology to be able to interoperate together, and that's why, especially over the internet, and that's why you have the worldwide web consortium, what you call that now developed your Web of Things. So just that protocol that guides that conversation between IoT devices, platforms, and applications.
So, okay, hold on a bit. Internet of Things and Web of Things are we moving, or are we not moving towards Internet of Everything?
Well, Internet of Everything it's basically, since the progression of Web of Things and then Internet of Things as well, is basically moving towards what you call Internet of Everything. And what Internet of Everything, as you can imagine, means that we want everything to be connected. Every device, every physical object to be connected. So basically, it's a technology that refers to the process where we connect people, we connect data, and we connect things together. So where billions of objects, right, will now have sensors, would have connected, equipment will have processing power, and then they'll be able to detect and measure their access. And all those things are now connected either over public or even private networks using standard and proprietary protocols. Basically, that's what Internet of Everything means. So the idea basically is that your fridge, once you keep, for example, this is just an example that when you keep eggs or you keep making your fridge should be able to have sensors to understand, oh, when your egg is finishing, and then maybe be able to help you order for even fresh eggs or fresh meat even before it finishes. So those kind of things, basically, where all things are basically connected. So that's what Internet of Everything means. So it's and it's not that far, right? We already see, in the manufacturing industry, Internet of Everything is already prevalent, especially when it comes to manufacturing in developed world. It's already prevalent. I'm going to try to move it into consumer products, right? Into things that we all use day in day out in our lives, right? Like, how do you, if you're not at home, how do you put on your for example, your light bulb? Or how do you put on your AC or put off your AC, right? How can your AC begin to now even read the room and then begin to change temperatures? And so those smart devices, just to make sure that our lives, becomes a little bit even easier based on this devices being able to connect to each other. We can give instructions remotely, and then we can even understand what the data is saying. So that's what the Internet of Everything means.
Having said much about IoT and WOT, another aspect of ICT which I want us to talk about is digital skills. We have entry level and advanced digital skills. Please, can you tell us more about these entry levels and advanced level of digital skills?
So yes, very good question. But one thing I need to understand is that Internet of Things, right? It is a technology, right? And then if you begin to develop yourself with it, and you can have digital skills to be able to program devices that can basically connect and transmit data to each other. And that's what you call, you have, that means that you now have Internet of Things skills. But then digital skills in itself basically is is the ability for you to be able to find, create, and share information. Also, be able to create services and solutions over digital channels, especially with your digital devices like your computers and your smartphones. And then we have quite a number of digital skills. But then digital skills are growing and they're becoming so prevalent that it has been recognized that in this age you would need digital skills. It's going to be a part of your new literacy alongside with your reading, your writing, and your math, that will be required for you to be able to really thrive in what we've called the digital economy. So digital skills is a must-have for everybody. It's not should have or could have. It's a must-have, right? And it's very, very important. And then no, like your question says, we have entry level digital skills. I say beginner level. That's basically what it means. That things that you should basically know, or especially when you're starting out, want to develop skills. Those are some of the things that you begin to understand first. Number one, I think one of the example, a very good example of an entry level digital skill would be basically for you to understand how to do basic word processing. How do you use Microsoft Word or any of those Google Docs, or those kind of tools that allows you to be able to write things on a digital device, right? It's very, very simple. Then how do you surf the internet? How are you able to find, and search for information on the internet? So those are basic entry level digital skills. How do you use productivity tools, right? How do you use collaborative tools? How do how do I send emails? How do I even market my product online? And some of us already use WhatsApp, so you have a form of digital skills already, just for you to be able to harness it and make it more productive, and then to be able to reach even a bigger and a wider audience. So everybody needs at least an entry level digital skills. No matter who you are, no matter what you do, you need those skills. Even our mechanics begin to need to understand how to use digital skills right? And most of them already do in a certain way, right? Most everybody has digital phones, and most everybody now knows how to operate it, how to use WhatsApp, how to use social media, and these are all forms already of digital skills. But when you talk to advanced skills, these are skills that basically are a little bit more complex, and they take a longer time for you to actually develop. So you have, for example, you have your data science or IoT, data science, or your Internet of Things that we just discussed earlier. We also have artificial intelligence, right? How do you begin to program smart devices, right? You also have your web and application development. So these are kind of a bit more advanced skill where you would need to learn how to write, speak in the language of computers, if I can put it like that. How do you instruct digital devices to do certain things, because you need to program them. So these are a bit more advanced digital skills that we also need to learn.
Obviously, with all the skills you have mentioned, there is hope for the future workforce, and in nearest future, we should not have cause to talk about unemployment. Or what do you think? With all the skills, people should not bother their head about being employed or lacking employment.
Yes, digital skills basically transforming the entire spectrum of work. The entire workforce is completely changing it. One major thing is that it's helping us to become more productive, right? So we don't need to do all the mundane things again, right? So we can basically just create intelligent systems that can help us to do some of the things that are just manual work, and then that gives us space and time to really do a more complex work. So digital, and it's basically even changing the way we even talk to ourselves. How do we communicate? And now you're going to see that a lot of organizations are even moving from being those physical based organizations to becoming a remote, or even what you call distributed teams. As you say, I don't need people that will work for my organization to just be Nigerians, right? You can work for me from anywhere. You can work from Kenya. You could work from, you can work from all over the world, basically. So that's one of the ways data skills basically transform the work.
On a final note, what is your advice to the parents and the young ones as far as digital skills is concerned?
On a final note, my advice to parents basically would be that number one, is very, very important that you yourself you get digital skills. Make sure that in your career you don't go out of vogue. You are always not on trend. Your question should always be, especially when you are going through your task of the day or your career, is that how will technology transform my career? How will technology transform my business? How will technology help me do this better and faster? That should always be your question at the back of your mind. Student who enter primary schools now, by the time they will graduate from the university, right, 65% of them will be entering jobs that don't even exist right now, because of the pace of the rate of change that's happening to workforce based on digital technology. So it's very, very important. And honestly, for you to even look at this, even another report that says that by 2030, half of the jobs that would be on net would require a form of digital skill. So it's very, very important for us to understand, and that digital skills is completely changing the field of work, and then begin to position ourselves, accordingly, so that we don't go obsolete and don't go out of vogue. Improve what you currently do. Now, doctors now are embracing digital technology at an accelerated pace. While you're talking about telemedicine, health, a lot of things. So we need to begin to think about. It doesn't matter the profession they are choosing. It's not about, oh, my child will not be a programmer. It does not matter. It's going to be a programmer or not. Even with any kind of field, digital technology is basically completely transforming them. So you need to give your children that edge, and position them rightly for their future. So that would be my parting advice. Thank you very much for having me. Do have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you for your time out with us, Mr. Hamzat, on this episode. To you, our viewers, that is our offering for today. Kindly take time out to follow us on all our social media platforms. Subscribe, like, and share our videos on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. You can watch us live on your mobile phones by downloading our apps from App Store and Play Store. We are also live on our website www.ogtv.com.ng/live. Until next time, when I return with another package, if it is digital, it is part of ICT.